Hello, Provo City. I am Superintendent Dow from the Provo City School District. Today is Friday, March 1st, and I am here to provide you with our weekly update. Last Tuesday, we did have a board meeting. We had some construction updates from Westland Construction. They are managing our construction projects both at Timpview and at Shoreline. And so they answered some questions from the board and provided additional information as we are getting ready, especially to move Dixon Middle School into Shoreline and starting to finish up the demolition of the academic wing at Timpview, and looking forward to building the bleachers at the stadium, as well as concessions, and just finalizing some of the additional parts of that construction project. We also had a presentation from Provo High School about their attendance pilot. We are talking as a leadership team and as a board to find ways to make it easier for parents to excuse absences, for students to actually log their attendance, and to take away some of that clerical work from our secretaries as well as from our teachers, and then make it much easier for parents to handle that situation when they're trying to excuse absences. So that's an ongoing discussion that we're having, and we'll keep you updated about that. We also talked a lot about the restructuring of the district. I've had lots of questions about why there were so many different appointments that were made. As you recall, we added assistant principals at our elementary schools, or assistant principal interns. We also promoted some positions that were basically PBIS assistants or deans of students into full assistant principal positions. So we've done a lot of interviewing, and we got all of those individuals placed. We now have to place our instructional coaches out into the schools, and so that will be taking place at the beginning of next week. The reasoning why the process had to take place in such a collapsed amount of time, I know that always unnerves people, is that we did that so that we could make sure that our new principals were named to their schools, so that they could be making the hiring decisions as they are given their allocations for how many teachers that they get to have. Now that the legislative session is coming to a close today, we kind of have more of an idea of what our funding will look like. And then we can get those numbers to principals so that they know what their hiring options are. And so as part of that process, then we get that information out to principals, but we want those new principals to be participating in that hiring process. People have asked me, does this mean we're gonna have this kind of turnover at our schools every year? No, it should not. I do not come from the philosophy that principals need to move every 3 to 5 years. There are districts that have that viewpoint. I do think that once a principal's been in a location for 9, 10, 12 years, that it does help sometimes to have a fresh set of eyes, so that we can really support that school in a meaningful way. And it also allows our educational leaders to grow as well. Sometimes they need a new experience. They need to have some new challenges so that they can continue to grow as professionals too. So just rest assured that that is not the case to have that kind of those kinds of placements. We impacted lots and lots of schools across that restructuring process. So we should be settling down. We can start with they can start with the hiring process next week, and get to planning for the next school year. I just also want to emphasize that on Tuesday, March 5th is our state's caucus meetings. If you want to really participate in the democratic process, I encourage you to participate in the caucus system. This is really where our delegates are chosen, where the platforms and feedback about the platforms of particular parties are selected. It's how you can ensure that the individuals that are ending up on the ballot and the individuals that are choosing our candidates at conventions and in delegate assemblies are really truly representative of our population. Sometimes our caucuses are not well attended, and so it gives a really tiny portion of our population a really magnified voice. So the more of you that can attend your caucuses, the more it makes sure that our democratic process really does represent the voices of the myriad of voices in our community. And so it's a great opportunity. We do have a little video on our website to kind of walk you through what that looks like, and we'll be highlighting that a little bit more on Monday as we get ready for the caucuses on Tuesday. Also on our website, we do have draft policies of student travel, and we also have a draft policy for the language access policy. These will be voted on at the March 12th board meeting. If you have additional feedback, it would be helpful if you want to provide that to the Board of Education. We have really the only things that have changed about the policies are that we actually do trip approvals more frequently than we used to. We actually opened it up so that coaches and employees don't have to use state travel if they don't want to, but they do still have to follow all of the state laws that are required for procurement purposes. And that's a lot. So sometimes when we use state travel, it just allows us, because our state contract, it can be more efficient. We know sometimes that works great, sometimes it doesn't work as great. So we wanted to provide that flexibility. We also, people have the misconception that we have restricted travel to the lower 48 states. That was already in our policy. It has been in place since before I got here. I do recognize that that probably is a policy that went into effect in the last 2 to 3 years, but that is something that the board did put into place. So we have put a cap on our trips of $2,000 per trip. We feel like that's reasonable, and that does raise it a little bit from where it was before. We have increased the amount of money that is allotted for meals. We recognize that if students are traveling to more expensive locations, that we need to make sure that they can be provided for when they are there. So you can take a look at those policies. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me or to a board member, and we're happy to assist you with that. I just also want to highlight that we have our Elementary Music Festival next week, next Thursday at 9 a.m. at Provo High School. I'm really excited to be a part of that and be able to celebrate our students and all of the great work that they're doing. We also have a safety and security meeting, and we will be having our state school safety czar coming to that meeting, because we want to highlight a lot of the things that Provo City School District is doing. We have gone above and beyond what many districts have done to make sure that our schools are very safe for our students. So I'll keep you updated on that. But for now, that's most of what's taking place across our district. We appreciate you. We appreciate you entrusting your children to us. And we hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.